Hey there, guys. All right. Hello, hello. All right. First off, hi, Patty. Thanks for joining. If this is your first time, oops, let me actually change my pillow. Don't want to offend some people. If you know me, then you all know that that pillow exists in my office, but gotta be understanding to some people. Okay, so a hello to everyone. I'm really excited for this webinar. It's going to be a killer webinar. If you are new to a webinar with me, welcome. My name is Rachel Feldman. You will get a little tidbit of my story. I will save the whole story for later in questions and answers if you so desire, or you can visit my website and get the nitty gritty. So I see Patty here, I see Denny here. Hi guys. All right, so we are gonna start our webinar. Give me a second just to share my screen and get going. All right, so, and if you guys have any questions, feel free just to ask away. So first off, how to do strategy sessions and get VIP clients. This is one of my favorite topics. And tonight we're going to talk about the difference between a strategy session and health history. So I think this is really important because in the beginning of coaching, I just heard health history, health history, health history. So I want you to keep a pen and a notepad close by as we go through this. So yes, my name is Rachel Feldman. You're sitting here in my office. That is me. I'm a health coach. I've been a health coach for 7 years. I consider myself, I wouldn't say lucky. I worked my tail off to have a successful business. It is possible. First year, made $13,000. Second year, $27,000. And almost third year, broke 6 figures. And that was as a health coach. That 6-figure break was when I figured out that I really needed a system. And that is different for everyone, but that system meant that I knew what to say on a strategy session. That meant that I knew on a strategy session how to convert that client because I had a system to talk about. That meant when, and we talked about this last week in pitching, like what do you say to a gym? What do you say to a juice place? What do you say to a spa? Like what do you actually say to all these people? You know, I knew what to communicate, and that was really important. So hold on, I just want to make sure that I hit the record. Sorry guys, just want to make sure. Okay, sorry. Just sometimes that kind of stuff can happen. I would say to you guys, make sure that you're recording. And so as a health coach and having a successful and sustainable business, I realized, you know, about 4 years into that the very program I had created for myself that was on my site that got me visibility, especially locally, local magazines and, you know, clients and everything, clients locally, clients nationally, friends, family, everything. Other coaches had asked me if I would sell that program. That is what started the birth of the Done For You programs. I furthered my education after graduating from IN, became a detox specialist because I wanted to know where my own autoimmune came from, where, you know, what was the ramifications of me having Lyme, my own health issues. And so that led me to go to detox school, which was a really big part of my own journey, and understanding the emotional aspects of detox as well as the physical aspects. Became a business coach because I realized there were so many coaches out there that hadn't been health coaches, and it's really interesting. It's really important to be in the trenches. So that's part of what pushed me to want to be a business coach for health coaches, proud mom and wife, big part of my why. But most important. Why are we here, guys? You cannot have a successful business without nailing down your strategy session, without knowing what to say during your strategy session. So you need to know what to say in order to close. Like, that's the bottom line. So to convert a strategy session, you must not give away, and I always say this, don't give away the shopping center for free. So I find that most people, not only do they put themselves in the possibility of, I would say, even not being safe when you're doing a health history first, but often I find that these long 60-minute session health histories are just, they are not needed if you are, just talking about signing somebody up for a 60-minute session. Now, maybe if we are signing somebody up for a VIP or for a, for a retreat. So a strategy session should be used to convert a client to a paid session. And a strategy session should be 20 minutes to 30. So there was a time I did 15. I found that, at 15 minutes, you were just pretty much getting into, hi, so what's going on? Hi, this is me. Let me tell you a little about how we work together, and moved it up to 20. I always allot on my calendar for 30. And if we need to go past 30 and I maybe have someone blocked in the next time, I'll say, let's, set up another time. So lead your client to your work with me. I mean, bottom line, that's why a strategy session is all about. We're leading our clients, our potential clients, to work with me. And sometimes, as I have a lot, these are people who come back to work with us. So you're then talking about, okay, great. So we worked together before. Tell me, and I actually had 2 people that I talked to today. Tell me what's going on. Tell me how I can help you again. What is happening in your business right now that has changed? What's really good? What is your vision? And so you're converting clients possibly to a group program. This happens a lot. Or maybe you have a program where people want to talk to you. If you have, a little chat box on the side of your page, and that goes to your email, you might find that you actually say to people, let's just hop on the phone. There are a number of different strategies out there, and people who actually use this, where they use webinars to get people on strategy sessions to then convert them to paid programs or to VIP sessions. Anytime that you get somebody on the phone, it's valuable. That interaction, especially if you can get somebody on Zoom or Skype, here we are having an interaction. So much better even than a phone session. That's why even when I hire somebody or I work with them, I want to see their face. So even if somebody says, hey, can we get on a phone? I say, can you jump on Skype or Zoom? I would love to see your face. I would love to see if we really are a good fit for each other. So a strategy session should really flow like this. Hey, so, tell me why we are talking today. And of course, most often you have, schedule once, or maybe you have Acuity, or maybe you have Calendly or Time Trade. You have a scheduler that somebody's signing up, and they have filled out maybe a small little paragraph about, why they're scheduling with you. You can then, a day or 2 before the time that you're going to talk to them, reach out and say, hey, can't wait for us to talk. Tell me what is going on with you. And possibly they're going to write back, maybe an additional paragraph, 2 paragraphs. And they're going to say, yeah, so we're talking because, and this is what's going on with me. Or maybe they reached out to you, and this is a great example. Love that. Maybe they reached out to you because you had a really profound post on Facebook, which is why I always talk about really speaking, about your story. Maybe I have this really great, profound, Facebook post, and somebody Facebook Messenger, and said, I wanted to reach out to you. Do you see people who are struggling with this? I saw your post. Really resonated with me. So you say, here's my calendar. Let's set up a call together because I work with people just like you. So you're setting up that strategy call, and the strategy call flows just like this. You are clear on who you work with. Now, I know a lot of people, just like in even the beginning of my career, even in the second year, third year, fourth, I mean, and this changes for a lot of people as time goes on. Either our niche changes, we change, we get more clear, we have that aha moment, or we say, wow, I don't want to work in this area, or we have sub niches. We have to be clear on the phone call on who we're working with and why. It's bottom line. We have to be clear. Even if we were at a cocktail party and somebody was like, oh, so what do you do? I have to be able to say, I do this. Or I was at acupuncture the other day, and there was a guy sitting there, and he had been introduced to me, and I said, what do you do? And then he turned to me and I said, well, I work with health coaches to build online and offline practices so that they can, and I explained. And he said, wow, that's really awesome. You know, can you show me your work? I opened up, you know, his laptop and I showed him my website, and he was like, wow, it's really cool. So you have to be able to know exactly what you do and how it's going to benefit. And I actually said to him, so it's really cool what you do. Maybe we should have lunch and see if there's a win-win. Immediately, it's not that that's a strategy session, but that is a connection. And that's really what you're looking for in any time that you're networking or even a strategy session, to be clear on what you're doing and what is the benefit for them and how you're going to help them. So a strategy session flows where you're saying, so what are we talking about? How can I help you? Letting that person actually speak back to you and say, this is what's going on. You know, this is what's worked, this is what hasn't worked. And then you are speaking back to them and saying, so here are the ways that we can work with each other. And then, you know, having them, you know, say, does this work and does this not? Then once they either accept that or not, that's when you move into sending them, you know, great, let's start working together, and that flows. The strategy session then is about selling spots in a retreat, converting clients, and that VIP offering, that strategy session, if you are leading them to, you are talking about your VIP, especially if you have different levels of your work with me. That VIP is the first. Or for some of you, maybe you have a VIP half day. Maybe you have a VIP day. Maybe you do 2-day intensives. So you want to be really listening to that person. Maybe even if we were to be doing a Zoom right now, and I would be sitting there talking, you would be talking. I'd be just writing notes. It's not rude. It's just I'm taking notes on what you're saying. And I would be saying to you, so, you know, this is what I think would be really good for you. Tell me if that feels right. You know, tell me what in what I just said to you, and based on everything that you told me, would this feel right? I never loved those, well, on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm just, maybe because I've been in sales my whole life, the whole sales, like, complete on a scale from 1 to 10, or if you could have everything in life, what would this look like right now? It just doesn't appeal to me. I run the other way. I've actually not hired, I think I can think about 10 different people because that came out of their mouth. So if that works for you, by all means. I know plenty of salespeople that really works, and they work even specifically in the entrepreneurial world. But for me, it's always worked to really speak what I call soul marketing. Soul marketing is really just listening to the person. It's just speaking from heart. It's saying, you know, look, you just told me that you've been suffering with digestive issues for how long? Okay, since you were 18 and you saw 10 different people and, you know, you really, life stinks right now and you're scared to actually go out and eat. I've been there. So let me just tell you what worked for me. It didn't work for me to think there was this quick fix, because that didn't work. So a single session with me probably wouldn't work. I would love that for you, because I wish it did work, and that probably would be the most cost effective for you. But I do think working with me for 2 to 3 months, you know, would be the best, would be ideal. And do I think that your gut is going to be better in 2 to 3 months? No, probably not, because Donna Gates and most people in the digestive wellness field, Liz Lipsky, say 6 months and beyond. And No one has crystal ball. So I can't tell you what that's going to be like for you. But what I'm going to teach you is exactly the tools that you need to help cleanse your body, reboot, the probiotics I use, the very things I've used in my life to get better. Because I had ulcerative colitis, I had digestive issues, I had Barrett's esophagus, I had a number of different health issues that everyone told me, here, this very one thing will work, and it never did. There was a myriad of different things I had to do, and that's exactly what I'm going to teach you. So then, as you see, just in that, and that is a lot of what I would actually say to people, because that was the truth. The truth was I would say exactly what I really wanted somebody to say to me. And then I would say, so there are clients who have worked with me for 2 to 3 months, and some clients have worked with me for 6, 7, 8, 9 months. I work best when, especially if there is long existing health issues, in collaboration with your doctor or another naturopath or an acupuncturist, somebody, so we can really get down to the nitty-gritty of what is happening and going on in your body. You are leading people to the ultimate VIP package when you are doing what? Leading them to know that you are caring for them ultimately. And then I always say at the end, hey, you know, if you want to think about it, if you want to schedule another session with me, some people have a completely different tactic. And I've heard this at events, I've heard this in sales. They say, if the sale is there right now, take it. I've always gone in the approach that I don't want somebody to hire me and be resentful. I want someone to hire me, even if the investment, I always say this, whether it's $5 or $50,000. I want the investment to feel right in body, soul, and mind. Yes, when we play big, when we hire somebody and there's an investment, of course we feel nervous, you know, or sometimes even if the investment is, you know, maybe a mortgage on the house, or maybe 2 or 3, there's going to be a little nervousness. But if we really know that that person has our best interest, nervousness is going to slip away. We will know intuitively that the universe does have our back, hence Gabby Bernstein. And so we're leading that person into our VIP offering with language that really comes from heart. That is why knowing how to really speak to your niche. So if somebody was talking to me about weight loss, I would say, so tell me what is happening to you. Tell me what gets you stuck in this place where you know really what you need to eat, but you keep going back there. And again, listen, what is the story? Mary may say to you, well, you know, it's just I come home and been out all day at work, and then, you know, my husband comes home late, and the kids and soccer practice, and then, you know, by the time I get them fed and then I get them to sleep, and then I sit down and, you know what, just shoving my face. I'm exhausted. Yeah, so I hear that, and I hear that from a lot of moms, and you're not alone. And it's just, it sounds like you need support and a plan. You know, you're a beautiful woman like every other woman. So what I'm going to help you do is have a plan, not just for you, but for your family. Because it's not just you, but you really do have to take care of everyone. And if you're not taking care of everyone and know that there's a plan, you're going to feel crazy. So I'm going to work with you first, and then we are going to make a plan for the family. What does the family need to get taken care of? We're going to map out, you know, what can you have when it is soccer practice, all of that. So this is how it would work to work with me. And my VIP plan looks like this. We would have a 90-minute session. We would then have a 30-minute session. We would have a 60. We would have another 60. And I also would come to your home. And we would go food shopping. And we would lay out a plan. And the investment that you would make in losing weight because you wouldn't feel overwhelmed and chaotic at night, needing to shove those emotions and feeling just tired would significantly change your life. So the investment is going to be $1,950. And I'm telling you, I will completely have your back. That day that we go shopping is going to be amazing. I'm going to come home and I'm going to help you clean out your house. Or, again, guys, let me say it different. The investment is going to be $2,950. And the day that we spend together is going to be amazing. And then we also go on a shopping tour, and I come home and we cook, and we end the night where the two of us, we go to a spa together. It's really outrageous. So special. I mean, it's you being pampered. So I just want you guys to hear this. It's messages, 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 niche, niche. It's speaking completely different. And you might be sitting there going, oh, me, Rachel. Rach, you just do that. People say, oh, Rach, this just comes off. No, it doesn't just come out of my mouth. This is practice, 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 practice. I go back and tell you, and if you haven't been on one of these webinars before, or you don't know me, this girl is an introvert. Can I ask anybody in my family, especially my immediate family, not even the hubby, the immediate, parents and everything. I was the girl, like, anxiety attacks. Nobody would really know it. I would be like, hi, panic inside around people. So it took practice, a lot of practice, to get comfortable at what to say to people. But I was always good at reading people and thinking, how would I want to be spoken to? So that is human psychology. If you can let go of the marketing and the sales, and that's what Gary Vaynerchuk talks about. That's why I think he's one of the most brilliant salespeople of this time. Put customer service first. And you will always sell, you will always sell what you're supposed to sell. Whether it's VIP, a higher ticket item, or even that lower ticket item that is going to lead them to always come back. Even today, one of my first clients, I saw her today for just a session. I've seen her whole family. I have many clients where I've seen their whole family. That is, to me, I don't think you can have it any sweeter as a health coach. Your first clients, that means 7 years ago. So think about that. 60-minute strategy sessions. When are they great? That high ticket item I just talked about, or retreats. My first coach, my second coach, my first coach was Cora Poash. My second was Nisha Moodley. Both of them, when they were high ticket retreat items or high ticket coaching items, of course you're on the phone. Sometimes you're on the phone even for 90 minutes. If somebody is getting a VIP package from me, sometimes I'm not just on the phone once, twice, sometimes 3. And I even tell people this is a major investment. For some people, 200, 300, 400, 5, whatever the price is. Again, it's an investment. So whatever your high ticket item is, even if it's a lower ticket item, I always say, you know what? People know I will answer that phone or answer an email. Because as a coach in the beginning, me spending $200 on anything was a lot of money. Me spending $100 was a lot of money. And people didn't answer when I had questions. So I made that a priority in my business. And it was also, I modeled my business after my mentors who weren't even coaches. This is my first acupuncturist, and it's my first integrative medicine doctor. And they both answered emails. They both text. They both were available 24/7. And it was so important to me because I didn't feel alone. And that was a commitment that I made. So yes, if it's a high ticket item, but also if you feel like it's also the right thing to do. So, I said this actually to a client today when we were mapping out her programs. I said, well, if you want on that 47 program to do the 20-minute, again, this is totally different, but if you want to put the 20-minute post strategy, great. Because you know what? That post strategy session, whether you're upselling them to essential oils or you're upselling them to a one-on-one, well, if you have 50 people, the likelihood of 10, they're going to go and get either a session with you or they're going to get oils, but somebody's going to do something. The conversion rate that somebody will go and say, oh, she's been great. She's been great supporting us. And that is what these strategy sessions do. Either a longer one, a shorter one. It's that high ticket item. Again, this is not a health history. N-O-T, big N-O-T. The strategy session, ask key questions, define the pain points, share your strategies. You're not sharing, I will do this. It's very clear, guys. Don't think you have to do that. Don't think you're qualifying yourself to say, I will do X, Y, Z with you. You might be sharing and saying, I went to this school. Of course, you might have to qualify yourself in the sense that I've worked with this amount of people. It's out of your comfort zone, or if it's out of what you're allowed to do, back up. Then share your VIP. Work with me first. Share why this is the great fit, and if it is. And again, good karma. If it's not a great fit, talk to him. Just like I said with a client today, I said, well, let's really think about this. There are some people, I have a VIP on my site. It says 2-month minimum. I don't do a 6-month. I never have, because I did a 6-month once and I felt like we were done earlier. And so I always say, look, we can do a combination. I don't feel like I need to lock people in. It might be the financially right thing for me, but I feel like karmically may not be. It's always worked for me. So I always say, go with the right thing karmically, and trust me, you will have the people coming to you. I've always put people first, and in my 5-person mastermind, who are very high achievers, financially and emotionally, we have all said the same thing. Even in the beginning, early stages of business, we didn't put the money first, even though we all wanted to make money. We put the people first. What was right for the people? How did we want to help people? And so if it's not a great fit, pull back your VIP. Say, I think this would be a great fit. I think this is actually a better fit for everything you're saying. Some people can't afford that VIP. Find the right thing. I always say, and people laugh when I've said this, but I said this my whole career, I'll skin the cat in any way to help somebody. And, so make it work. That's really what a strategy session is about. And before the strategy session, ideally you want to be having 5, to 10 strategy sessions, because you need to convert those. If you want to have 5 to 10 clients a month or more, depends what your price point is. Depends what incomes you have, passive or active income, programs coming in, maybe you're doing products, anything. You need to think about that. You need to look at how much do you need to make. Explain your payment options if you have them on that strategy session. Explain how you work. Set up your 2nd or 3rd meeting if you need to. And send a follow-up email with PDF of details and prices for your VIP work with me, or just your work with me in general. Know your niche, all right? If you don't know your niche and your message, how can you sell anything? I think this is the biggest thing that I see, okay? So I have watched all different forums. I do 100% think entrepreneurs are completely different from health coaches and wellness and life coaches, fitness coaches. I think they're over here and entrepreneurs in general over here. Doesn't mean that you don't need to know business. That's the defining connecting factor. But it's a very different thing when you are selling a lifestyle brand to when you are selling I don't know, business, or, something for social media, or something for Facebook, or, something that is just business. So understanding the pain points. I mean, yes, could there be pain points of not knowing how to do a Facebook ad, but and maybe it's grueling and it's hard, and maybe you lost money, maybe you kept boosting and boosting and boosting on a blog and you got nothing, but you paid out $200. But that pain of coming home and going into the pantry over and over, that's a different pain. Or the pain of knowing, like this woman, that the food maybe on the left is really good for her, but she just keeps going back to the donut. That's a different pain. The pain of somebody being, overweight, when I look at the show, if you watch the show This Is Us, it's a perfect example. The pain of, this woman being overweight and going through that, and being then in this place of acceptance and not loving herself, that's a pain. That's a true pain. Or the pain of, feeling so busy that maybe we don't feel like maybe we're a good mom. That's a pain. So we always need to know, what is the message? So if somebody has digestive issues, the fear of going out to eat and then needing to run to the bathroom, that's a major fear. That's a real fear. And then the sub niche of that is, people who are in their 50s who are XYZ. What is the sub niche of the people who are, fearing to go to the bathroom? Then you start sub niching it down. People who have, digestive issues, who are, who work corporate wellness and are stressed. People who, just had babies and are having hormonal issues. Sub niche that down. But what are the different messages? Because the coaches who have the great, gorgeous websites, amazing copy, all of that, and are making no money, but have gone to every course, signed up for every mastermind, are in every Facebook, have hired every coach, and they're not making money, what is happening? Well, I believe, just my humble opinion, what's happening is we just kind of skipped over the basics, or that we don't go back to the basics enough. Is that we don't keep going back to the messages. Messages are the most key thing. See, the message is that you have to keep seeing, and this is the test part. This is got to see what people are grabbing at. And also the messages have to change over time, because people change. We change. So, would you speak to this woman about oh, so I was at the gym and I was doing this? Maybe not, or maybe so. We don't know unless we test the message. So when is the 60-minute a no-no? When do you think you do a health history as a strategy session? Health histories are after they hire you, once they sign a contract. Health history is sent to the client. Go over the health history in session 1. Go over the health goals. Learn what type of program they need. Evaluate lifestyle habits. Make a plan of action. It's real clear. So this is what I have seen. This is, going over, like we said, the strategy session, VIP clients. When do you do a 20, 30, or 60-minute for a strategy session? No on the health history, all right? And you want to do those strategy sessions because you want to get people, again, into a place of understanding who you are, but really engaging so that you're hearing what their needs are. But you have to know, one, your niche, because how are they going to get to you? I mean, it's how are they going? They're only going to get to you through either Facebook, phone, or Instagram, or Pinterest, or a flyer that you posted, or an event, or offline, or anywhere, if you're clear. If you know who you're working with, if you know the pain points, if you know the results, if you know your niche, if you know your niche buyer, pain points, if you know what they want, if you know the messages, all these different things. So That's at least what I believe. So this is also, and we're just going to even wrap up the class part. I will totally take questions. But I had told you guys about the fact that I've also been through so many courses where I signed up for a course and then I got the homework, but I didn't do the homework at the time that I was. This mastermind that I'm in, we actually do a portion of the work in the class, which has changed the way that I am going to do classes moving forward forever, because I realized that we only carve out that time and do it if we're actually there, and if we're actually in a place where we can like raise our hand, ask, and actually get feedback. So everything moving forward, I'm doing mastermind style so that we are interactive with each other, doing that class material, 2-hour classes, with the materials that you need. So we are going to be doing a class on February 19th. Like I said, and I shared about this in the support forum, after I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was maybe like a 30-minute rant. I said, you know what, guys, my 2017 and on is, you know, I've always been completely transparent, but I'm done with that like salesy stuff. I've tried it out before, doesn't work for me. I don't like when I get those emails. I like good sales emails, but I like when people are really straightforward. So I will be doing this masterclass. We will be rolling into the Spring Done For You programs after I go to Brendan Bouchard, which I'm hella psyched about, which will be the middle of March. We'll be kicking off. And then I will be doing some masterclasses after that, some on tech, because I know that tech kills a lot of y'all. And if tech takes you down, then you don't sell stuff, and then you feel uncomfortable, and then it takes you away from really what you need to focus on. You need to focus on blogging. You need to focus on visibility. You need to focus on your niche. You need to focus on sub-niche, message. You need to focus on videos. You need to focus on pitching. You need to focus on your programs. You need to focus on your work with me, your about me, like all the foundational parts of your business. And if you're not carving out time for those because you're spending so much time either in tech areas or areas that you're uncomfortable in, or where you feel like you don't know, like Canva or PicMonkey, or how to do a webinar or how to do a strategy session, like really detailed in a masterclass, you're going to feel uncomfortable. And I see this even with my one-on-one clients. Sometimes with my one-on-one clients, we even do a mock strategy session, or we do a mock health history, or we do a mock session 1, or a mock webinar, because these are the things we all have, you know, the passion. We have the knowledge. It's the how-to. It's the how do I batch my social media? How do I plan out my week? So first masterclass of the year will be this one. It's our interactive masterclass. We are going to nail down our message, our niche, our sub-niches. I have, let me see, it is right here, which we can go to later. We can go to later and look at it. You can go right to actually, we'll go here after in a sec. And we can take a look. It's got some awesome stuff. I'm really excited because I wrote all the documents the other day and really thought about, from my perspective, like what did I need to build my kick-ass business? Like that was just it. Not, you know, sitting there and looking at what you guys, I mean, with you guys in mind, but not sitting there and saying, okay, what handout needs to be here? Really sitting there and saying, what for a niche and what for sub niches and what for each of these handouts need to be there, plus great bonuses, headlines, and email templates, the very things that you guys need to have great success. So yes, it's a 2-hour class. It's $97. If you did a niche class with me before, the materials are completely different. I wrote them, like I said, myself, and I think that they are pretty hell amazing good. And we are going to kill it. So if you're interested or if you have questions, feel free to ask me. Okay. Getting on to this, give me a second. Okay, Etsy is saying, or like the lady that I told you about that walked up to me before my workshop, a nutrition smart, and told me how she's been suffering, and I told her what I do and that I specialize in the gut, and she wanted me to set up a strategy session. Exactly. I mean, the biggest thing about setting up a strategy session is that you want to be very specific in what you do. I mean, I think a lot of people say things like, this is my favorite. They say things like, I help people to balance. That means nothing to people. Like if you say, I help people to balance, or I help them to find their vitality again, or I help them to feel alive again, that doesn't mean anything to people. Like it may mean things to people if you are Mind Body Green, or if you are Whole Living Magazine. Great, great publications, or maybe even if you're, Ariana Huffington, one of my favorites from, Thrive Global. But I think as health coaches, we really do have to set ourselves apart. One of my clients said the other day, she was like, I am going to do this different because I don't want to be like every other coach. And I think that's a really important message. When she said that, I kind of had this like aha moment as she said that to me, because I thought she really gets it. She really gets it that she has to be saying something different, because that common, like, I help you to balance, I help you to find your mojo again, I help you to feel sexy, like everyone is saying that. So you really have to niche it down. You have to understand how to message to people online. You have to understand, what makes you different, and go into your own backstory, go into, the benefits of your niche. Like, what about you makes you the expert for the very people that you are helping? And one of my clients today, we had a massive breakthrough in our session. I actually started crying because she just had a massive breakthrough. And actually, we went into her site and I said, hold on, just keep talking. And I started typing and said, you just said it. Like, and it was like, I say this, I get chills, because I said, your niche just changed. Like, this isn't even the people who you were working with when we first started working. You just had the breakthrough. You just realized who you're really meant to work with, because we broke into her real story. And I believe the coaches out there that are successful, that are getting clients, that are getting people to sign up for their opt-in freebies, that are getting visibility, that are getting exposure, that are being seen, are tackling this niche and this message and this sub-niche. And the ones that are not, it's not that you're not doing a great job. It's not that you aren't brilliant and beautiful and special, but there is a disconnect between how you see what you're saying inside to what is being conveyed. And that is a huge disservice that you are doing to yourself because of that. And again, it's not your fault. It's just the groundwork that has to be laid out so that you can say, oh, that's actually what I'm saying. I didn't know that I was needed to say that, because I didn't have, my word bank put together. I wasn't being very clear on this. I thought that just saying like, lose that 5 pounds. It's like, no, we have to go a little deeper. What do people really need to be hearing? So that's why in this masterclass, we will be like going step by step, the homework with everyone together, and then I'll be jumping in with that different homework and giving key examples on what works and what doesn't, so that you can also visually see as we're going through the different work what I would say. I'm going to give examples for each of those as we go through the work, so you can steal them, steal those examples by any means, but also see other people that have used, that are in different niches. So you can say, oh, wow, that's actually what those people use. So, or say. Does anyone have any questions before we end the night? Anyone? Anyone? Natalie Jones raised her hand. Let me see if I can get. Hold on, Natalie. Hi there. I think you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
I actually feel that I did carve out a niche for myself, and I kept going back to that. I chose a very difficult one, which is like autoimmune conditions. And after about 2 years now, I actually feel, because I'm not getting a big amount of clients, maybe it's the place I live in, but I feel like I've really narrowed myself down to how many people can actually even pay for my services, because so many of them are unable to work anyway. So now I'm feeling really stuck. So, and I was doing this. I mean, I've done many health histories, many 30 minutes, many 20-hour sessions, sometimes longer. And then at the end, they basically would love to hire me, but they don't have any money.
Well, and you bring up a great point. So this is a great opportunity for me to kind of share my feedback. Is one, sometimes I call it, we niche down too far. So, you know, there are people that I know, just like myself, who suffered with an autoimmune. I remember, like, right in the beginning saying, I work with people who have digestive issues, digestive wellness issues. So this was back even 7 years ago. Nobody talked about digestive wellness. I mean, I follow Donna Gates, but rarely did people know of her. Alejandra Younger really wasn't mainstream yet. You weren't seeing Dr. Oz talking about, you know, nobody talked of that stuff. It wasn't like talking about Candida was mainstream, you know? And so even though we may have our stuff that we've gone through that is part of our story, like if somebody if somebody went through migraines and that's what got them to be a health coach or went through school, sometimes we actually have to back up from our story and say, I became a health coach because I have an autoimmune, but, you know, I work with people who are suffering with weight gain and sometimes actually generalize a little, because maybe the people who are suffering with an autoimmune, as you know, have gone in and out of doctors. They are, you know, sick, and you know, the doctor bills, the different things that you have to do sometimes when you have an autoimmune, you know, you can't afford it by the time that somebody gets to you. And I found that in the beginning of my career. So sometimes we have to kind of either step back and maybe not say autoimmune, maybe say, you know, I work with people who are dealing with acid reflux, or I work with people who have, you know, digestive issues such as, and so really make it maybe a little more specific or broaden, so that maybe you're getting people that are of a broader scope, so that you can at least fill your practice while you are exposing yourself maybe to a more national or broader place, so that you're not getting people just in your backyard, or aligning yourself with doctors, physicians, or chiropractors or acupuncturists where you can really build a referral network.
Yeah.
Because it's very, I know in the beginning of my career, people would say, I just can't afford you. That was one of the reasons that I actually created an online program, because I can't tell you how many people would say, I can't get out of bed, I have a child, or I just paid a doctor this. And this is nothing against doctors. It was just, I would get phone calls of people crying. I'm sure you have the same thing.
Yeah.
People in pain, and I said, that's it. I need to have some kind of way to work with me that doesn't cost my monthly rate, but that I can still support them, to teach them some of the tools to just jumpstart and to just be there. And that's where that's when I started the online detox that I had.
Yeah. I mean, I actually decided to do even telephone consults and charging very little. And I thought even if it's $15 for $15, 15 minutes I was doing, and started to do and put them in groups as well. If needed, one-to-one, they'd have to pay $25, or in a group it would cost them $15, 15 minutes. And it said, ask me anything. And it seems like I am getting recognized. I'm getting lots of hits on my website, and I'm getting lots of people looking at my new views on my Facebook page, but they're just not coming in. And I mean, I'm now at the point where it's just like, it's heart-wrenching for me, because I feel like I've done all this work.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've had clients, and all of them have given me raving testimonials, and they're on the website. But I feel like I was like, well, either people don't trust the process yet, because I live in New Zealand for one thing, and maybe it's not as they trust the doctors at this point more so than they do a health coach, for instance.
And maybe, that's why sometimes and this is a perfect example, I never had a weight issue ever. And I was promoting myself all along as digestive issues, allergies. I mean, the very things that were in my wheelhouse, the things that I went through. Wasn't getting the people so my, earlier clients were like coming to me, it was like weight loss, digestive issue, then weight loss. And I was like, what is going on? And I had to kind of step back and say, okay, well, they're coming to me for this reason. And every person who would come to me would say, but I don't deal with weight loss. I mean, I will. But then I realized, well, you know what? Weight loss is also a function of the digestive system being out of balance. So if I looked at it from a different thing, and then I started, again, looking at a niche that was staring me straight in the face, and re-messaged, and then my business really opened up in a different way.
Yeah.
So that's why sometimes we have to actually go back to the drawing board, even though that's your story. Again, it was never part of my story, and I've shared this in other webinars, never part of my story to work in weight loss. I don't like being a weight loss cheerleader. I worked in a gym on and off for 2 years. I was very happy when I left the gym, because I was not comfortable anymore just talking about weight loss. I tried to bring in the parts that are part of what I believe. And they were like, can you just stick to weight loss? But so that's not part of me. It went against who I am, which is fine, but the people that I worked with one-on-one, I empowered them. I really taught them, look, let's talk about the lymphatic system. Let's talk about skin brushing. So it was a real empowerment thing. And if you can find that in another way, and maybe in New Zealand, I mean, I've worked with coaches who are in Ireland, Germany, and Japan, all over the world. There are different, I would say, messages and themes in different parts of the world. So maybe there needs to be a different word. And that's why I always say, like, especially in this class, like, there needs to be a word bank. There needs to be study of even like who is in your area as a coach, and what are they doing. Even start looking at other people. What are the words that they're using? And see how you can expand that. So, I mean, that's just some thoughts, as well. I hope that's helpful.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure. And what time is it there?
Nearly 2.
Oh, wow. Not in the
afternoon.
Oh, in the afternoon. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, big time difference.
Yes. Does anyone else have a question? Anybody? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. So, thank you. I hope I'm saying your name right, Marilise. All right. So, if you guys have any questions, if you have any questions about the class, let me know. Okay, somebody's asking a question. Joanne saying, wanted to just say thank you. This was helpful. Well, I hope you guys all come to class. We are going to have a boatload of fun, as always. And sometimes surprises just come because I'm just like that. This will be our last fun thing before spring comes. So feel free to email me, but have an awesome night, guys. Awesome, awesome. I will be sending out the replay probably tomorrow morning. So if you have any questions, feel free to enter a question on the sales page or shoot me an email. I'm gonna go give my kids a little kiss, and I'll see you all later. If you haven't joined our free support group, join. It's awesome. You guys make it awesome though. So it's not just all me, it's you guys. We all work as a team. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, everyone. I will see you later. If you have any questions, you can go and check out my site at www.rachelafeldman.com or check out www.healthcoachbiz.rachelswellness.com. We'll see you. Peace out, guys. All right, have a good night. Mwah. And a good afternoon or wherever you are in this world. Bye, guys.